Hi everybody, and welcome back to the Christmas in July 2023 YouTube collaboration. This event is hosted by Lisa from Paper Lace and Bling and Terry from Sweet Pea Papers. Both of their shops are listed in the description box below, along with their YouTube channels, and all of the other collaborators in this series are also listed in the box below. So go ahead and check out their channels and their stores for different content and specials throughout the month. So let's go ahead and get started on my project. So this is the cover for my December Daily Traveler's Notebook size that I'm making. In the previous video, we made the covers for the signature, and now we're going to get started with the inside pages and the spreads for each of the 25 days leading up to Christmas. Before we get into that though, there are a couple of things that I'm going to be using. I will be using other ones too. I will show you when I use them, but I'm going to be using some of the different features and things from my Elizabeth Craft Designs Planner Essentials. Some of these smaller elements will be perfect for my spreads. So I will show you the different dies when I'm using them in case you want to purchase any of these to make something similar. So let's get started. I'm going to be using my Elizabeth Craft Designs Planner Essentials. This is the film strip numbers. So I'm going to use these to mark my numbers for every single day in my December daily. So what you'll see is there are two different layers. So we've got the white layer in the back and then the little black layer. I did decide just to use white and black so that it stands out on whatever paper that I'm using, and it won't get blended into the background. So I decided to go ahead and add some gems to my film strips just to give them a little bit of sparkle and make them just match some of the gems that I put on my signatures. So you'll see on the places that the holes were completely round and in all four corners, I placed my gems, just a little extra. So these are all ready to be put on the pages. And next, we're going to actually begin decorating some of the inside pages, some of the spreads to use these. So before I go any further with my spreads, I've decided that I'm going to trim my page edges. Now, it's okay if you have different size pages and you like this look, but with my Traveler's Notebook, I want them to be clean. So I'm actually going to take each of these pages and I'm going to trim these to 4 1/8 of an inch. So I'm just taking off a little bit off of the ends of this. So it's about 1/8 of an inch off of each end. Now if I put them back together, they'll all be contained in my outer signature. So I'm going to go ahead and do this for all of my books, and then we'll get started on decorating the first spread. So for starting spread one, I've got all kinds of goodies here that I'm going to be adding on to these two pages. All the papers are from the Graphic 45 Warm Wishes collection, except for the black cardstock, which is just plain black paper. And I am going to be using this die set here from Elizabeth Craft Designs, the Planner Essentials 2, and some of my postage stamps that I showed you in one of the previous videos. So I'm first going to be adding my little black border strip up here at the top. And I've coordinated everything so it kind of matches and brings out all the different colors in the collection. It's not hard to do when you're using Graphic 45 because everything does coordinate so easily. So I'm just going to put this at the top here. And then I'm going to take this one and put it at the bottom on the opposite page. Now I'm going to actually take the rest of those out so it's a little flatter. It'll be a little bit easier to adhere things down. Next, I'm going to take my details piece. This was also from the Elizabeth Craft Designs dies. And I'm going to add this here at the top. Going to add my large tag right in the center of this page. And this will be a spot for a photo. So this is going to act as a photo mat. Then I have one of my little black hole reinforcers. This is just purely decorative here on the page. Now I'm going to add my number 1 over here on my left-hand side of the page. And throughout my pages, I'm going to alternate where I put this so that I don't have one big pile up of those numbers by the time I'm finished. So I've put them all in the same place, it'll get really thick just in that part of the book. So I'll have them in different spots. But this one I'm going to place here. Then I've got this little triple pocket that I'm going to place here in just a minute, but I'm going to make my tags first. So I have my 3 tag shapes. I have already inked my pieces with some of the black ink that I was using earlier, just so that they will stand out. I haven't decided yet if I'm going to actually place any twine or anything through these hole reinforcers. So they might just be flat. It'll leave less bulk in the book. So I'll probably decide that once I finish all of my pages. So I have pieces here from the 8x8 and the 12x12 papers. So depending on the size that I need, sometimes I will scale down to the 8x8 for some smaller images or words. Other times I will use the 12x12. It really just kind of depends on what I have and what looks okay. The tags are all plain on the back, so they can be journaled on or photos can be placed on them. So whatever needs to be documented for the first day of December. All right, so here are my 3 tags. They're pretty plain overall. Trying to keep things as flat as possible so there's not too much bulk, but I want to also give a little bit of dimension so that it's also a cute book when it's finished. I'm going to just first place 1 tag in each of these. Then I'm going to place it on my page so that it looks okay. And I have enough room for my tags. I'm going to layer together my postage stamp image really quickly. These are from Annette Green's Everything Blooming collection with Elizabeth Craft Designs. There's 3 different size postage stamps that are nested together. Maybe there's 4. There's 4 different sizes. They're really fun to play with because you can use them for so many different things. You just change up the image that you use inside and you can use it for any occasion. It's a really versatile set. Now I'm going to bring in my stamps that I used to stamp my December 2023. I just left the 23 on it, and I'm going to stamp it right on there. Didn't stamp the greatest, but that's okay. And I'm going to place this here as a decoration. So I want to make sure my pocket has enough room for my tags here. And then I'm going to just mark this where I'm going to put it. And now I will just be putting my adhesive along the outer edges. That way everything else will be open for those tags to tuck into. If you glue anything else down, it won't give you the option to tuck those tags in. And then I'll put my postage stamp on here, but I want to make sure that I don't glue this corner because the tag will need to slide underneath of that if it is on that outer edge. And now that my pocket's on my page, I'm going to go ahead and put my tags in. Maybe it'll be easier if I put my first tag in, and then my second tag. And then my third tag. Now I'm going to go through and just add a couple of gems on my page. Not a lot, but just a few. Just to, again, blend everything together. It's little details like this that will be consistent throughout the book that'll give it more of a uniform feel. I think this is all the gems I'm going to put on this page. So there's these gems here. I'm not going to add any to that. And I've just got those 3 little ones up here. I'm going to go ahead and let these dry before I flip the page and move on to the second spread. So I did decide to go ahead and just add this little birdie from the ephemera assortment. It is open at the top, so the photo will slide behind it just to finish off that page. Now moving on to spread 2, I've got lots of stuff here we're going to be placing down. We're going to start on this page first. So I'm going to take this piece. I've roughed up the edges with my scissors and I did use my black ink on the edges. I'm going to place this down here first in the center of the page. Then I've got this piece. I used this planner set here, cutting this piece here, and I'm going to use both of these inner pieces that are cut out from the frame. So I've got this one first. It's going to go down here. And I have one of my flourishes from the Everything's Blooming collection. I'm going to tuck this in here and layer this. Then I'm going to take one of my die cut pieces and place it down here across the bottom, and I'm going to tuck my number 2 right in here. So I'm going to first make sure everything fits on the page, nothing hanging over. And then once I have an idea about how I'm going to place these, I'm going to do this one first. So I'm going to remove this. I think I'm going to place this here. So I am going to lift this up and place a little tiny bit of adhesive here to catch this piece on the front. I'm not going to adhere this part down because I want the photo to slide up underneath of it. So I'm going to flip this whole piece over now and add my adhesive to the back side of this. And then on my back of my red swirl piece too. And now I'm just going to fit this on the page. And I will come back in and press just this little circle piece down so that it is here to the page. The only part that is not is the part that's going to be over top of my photo. So now I want to place this, and again, I'm not going to adhere the part down that's going to be over the photo. So just this section here and this little tail. And then my number 2. And for my number 2, I'm actually going to slide it up under here and then press it down. Now I'm going to take my gold metallic jelly roll pen, and this has stitching lines on it, so I'm going to make stitching lines on this too. So I'm just going to go around this. It'll be very subtle, you won't see a lot of it, but you can definitely see that shimmer when you're looking at it. Up close, you'll actually see it a little bit better. So it might not show up very well on camera. Hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit of the shimmer. Okay, so just a little bit of extra. So now this part of the page is finished. We're going to work on this one. So I'm going to take this folder out of here and set these aside. First, I'm going to take my background piece. It is distressed with my scissors on the ends, and then I have my black ink. Now I am going to be very careful with how I adhere this down. So I've taken this little piece from the Elizabeth Craft Designs dies that I showed you, and I want this to slide behind here. Now I want to make sure that this will lift up. So I'm going to place it on my page. For right now, I'm just going to bring this in. This is going to be the card that's going to go underneath of it. And I'm going to decide where I like my piece to be, because I can place this anywhere on the page. I can place it on the top, I can place it down below. I think I might bring it down here a little bit more. Just so you can see more of that floral image sticking out at the top. So once I have it where I want it to be, I'm going to flip this over on the back side and add just a little bit of adhesive. Now, if you don't want to adhere this down, you could just add your adhesive and leave a pocket where this could slide on your page too, just depending on where you would want to put it eventually, maybe if you're just not sure of whether you want this on the page or not. Just kind of depends on you. Now I'm going to set this aside for a minute. I'm going to bring in the napkin that Lisa gave us. Lisa's Shop Paper, Lace, and Bling, linked in the description box below. She's got all kinds of goodies, so you can check and see if she has any napkins in stock in her shop. I'm going to pull this napkin apart, if I can get it apart. If I can't, I'll get a piece of tape here in a minute. But I'm gonna pull, it's a 2-ply napkin, it looks like. It might be 3, I think it's only 2. So I'm going to remove this back layer of this napkin. So I'm going to decoupage this napkin onto this journaling card, but I only want a specific image from it. So I'm going to cut this larger than I need. And then I'm going to remove the border. Now, if you don't like the clean line look, you can also tear this to give it a little bit more of a ragged look. I might actually end up doing that here in a minute since my pages already have that distressed edge look, so we'll see. I'm just going to trim this to fit my card, but with a small border. And now I'm just going to come in here and tear my edges so that they are not even. Being very careful, I'm not removing a lot, just a little tiny bit, and I'm going to be very careful when I get towards the bottom of this image because I don't want to rip off any of the holly leaves or the berries. So now I have that. that I'm going to place on the front, and I'm going to do one more for the back, just of this solid color though. So I'm going to cut this. And place it here on the back side. So I'm first going to trim this off. And then again, I'm going to go around and I'm going to be tearing this. And I think this will look cute because it'll be very similar to that distressed edge look that I achieved on my paper using the scissors. So it'll kind of blend this in. I'm doing this on the black, that way I won't have to use a white pen to do any type of journaling or documentation if this is going to be used for that. So this area will be the lighter color, so it'll be easier to write on. Okay, so I have my little piece for that. Now I'm going to just use Mod Podge and a sponge brush to put this on. So I'm just going to put, probably a little much here, and put this here in the center. And then I'm going to apply my napkin down. Then I'm going to go over the ends with my Mod Podge and in the center too. I am just going to add this little Joy to the World postage stamp from the paper. I'm going to adhere it down to the top just to give it a little bit of decoration. Then I'm going to take some more of my Mod Podge, place it on the front, and do the same thing. Now I do have the Wonder piece that I have cut out of the paper. I'm going to adhere this towards the top of the card on the front. So now I have my little journaling card. I'm going to set this aside to let this dry. I forgot one more thing that I was going to do with this one. So I've used my Everything's Blooming lace border die. I've only cut 6 of them out. I am going to fold this in half and place this down here on the edge of my card. So I'm going to actually first place my adhesive on the front side. I want to line this up with the bottom edge. And then I'm going to flip over and add my adhesive here. To the back side, I'm going to add it to the actual little pieces sticking down, and I'm going to add my adhesive across the bottom of the tag just to seal this shut completely, and I'm just going to line up the little pendants so that they are perfectly aligned. While my piece is still drying, I'm going to add 2 little gems, one on each side of Wonder, and I'm going to use the gold gems this time instead of the red, just because it's on the red paper. I've put my pages back in my signature, so when this is dry, this will go here, and this will finish spread 2. So we're now finished with spread 2. I'm going to let this dry so that it doesn't stick to the back page in my spread. And in the next video, we'll begin working on pages 3 and 4. So stay tuned, and don't forget to check out all of the other YouTube channels listed in the description box below for more content for the Crafty Christmas in July 2023 YouTube collaboration. Thanks for watching and have a great day.